How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Gauntlet of Gaming, where these hands are rated E for everyone. My name is Malik, and today I've been blessed because even though Final Fantasy VII Remake has been delayed, the fortunate thing is we did get a full main theme trailer to commemorate the anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. So I decided that I'd give my little reaction to it since we don't really have any Final Fantasy content that I'm able to provide to you at the moment. So this will be just good enough. Without further ado, let's get on into it. But first, remember to subscribe if you like the content that we're making, like our videos so that way we know that what we're doing is actually good, and be sure to share this with your friends because our voices stay silent if you do not help us extend them. But yeah, other than that, let's jump into the video.
So, what did you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh, Nibelheim
When
looks
spring comes,
so
I'm
good.
leaving
Oh
town.
my gosh,
I'm going
young
to America.
Cloud!
I'm gonna be a soldier. The best of the best. Like
He
Sephiroth.
looks so good. Oh my gosh, this game. What? Genova looks really good too.
Tell me, is it really you?
Are we on schedule?
Please, Mr. President, I am asking you to
Keanu
reconsider.
Reeve?
No, begging.
Director to
Wow.
estate.
Reeve looks really. Everyone looks really good.
Mako supersaturation confirmed.
Engaging materia cooling to reduce
Oh, and then there's Scarlet.
I am director. We have a meeting shortly.
Stop. Your timing is impeccably atrocious.
Oh dear.
Oh
dear.
wow.
A man
All of
of
the
my
executives are
refined
getting
taste,
showed off.
Running out of butter.
And they look so good.
Welcome to the Honeybee Inn, Cloud.
Oh, this is gonna be so much
Beauty is an
fun.
expression of heart. A thing without shame, to which notions of gender don't apply. Perfection. Not a word.
Not even one?
No!
But you're so pretty.
Today's right to be is...
Today's?
Pathetic.
Huh? Which one of you said that? You got a mouth on you.
Well, aren't we having a wonderful time kicking the hornet's nest? You know what I want. A second dance.
A
Just the
second
two of
dance.
us.
Interesting.
So what the hell is it?
A fascinating question.
Oh, did it just talk?
I am that which you see before you.
Red 13 looks so good. I mean, that's literally my comment for everything. It's just, it looks good.
A touching reunion.
Very good.
Hojo.
And thus is the hypothesis proven correct. I can only hope you will continue
Wow.
not to disappoint.
His face is just as punchable looking as ever. You got some intensity coming along. Is that Cloud with a gun? Was that Cloud with a gun? Leviathan? Oh, it's lit. Oh, it's gonna be good.
We're here to rescue Aerith, remember? We don't need more attention than what we're gonna get.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, the dares of Chocobo summon. Oh man, they're coming with a squad.
I know
This is
these
good.
people, and I know they're never gonna let Aerith go. She's the last living ancient on the planet. Think about what that means to Shinra's scientists. This is...
The source of everything. Genova.
Oh, good lord, that's terrifying. I mean, that's good. Like, it's good it looks that terrifying, but jeez. This remake really needed to happen. I'm really glad to see all of this.
The Shinra electric
Oh, this must be when the... well, I won't spoil it for people who haven't played Final
There's a
Fantasy.
much bigger threat. I just
But that's
want
gonna
to
be
everything in my
really
power.
interesting.
All of you. And the planet.
Ah, I cannot wait for this game. April 10th, yep. April 10th. Is there anything else? No. It's just an ad. I don't want that ad. Oh, man. Well, it still hurts to see that the game got pushed back an entire month, but from what I can tell, and from what I've been seeing with my own calendar, it's a blessing that it got pushed back to the exact date that it got pushed back to, because the fact that it just allows me more personal time to actually enjoy the game and just take in everything that we just saw, because that was a lot. That was a lot of character reveals that I was not expecting. Everyone looks good, which, I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake, that's what they've been saying for day one. This game looks beautiful, and this trailer just amplified that even more. So I want to watch it again. I want to watch it again. Let's go back a frame. So like this part, it's a wallpaper. Like, it just looks so good. Everything looks realistic. And then the fact that they're able to make... So Tifa is a weird one, because young Tifa still looks like old Tifa. I'm not really griping over that. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just the fact that they managed to make Cloud... I mean, they both look like their adult selves, but Cloud looks just... He looks pure, innocent, like a child that you would want to protect. And I love that so much, because it makes everything that happens later on kind of just like this full circle story. It's like, oh, you went from being this guy that was so inspired by other people, and then when you finally get to meet the people who you looked up to, things don't go as you plan. It's like that saying, never meet your heroes. And it just, I can relate to it now with him looking so young and innocent, and even having the little tail in the back. Like, it's so anime. So just, oh man, the scenery right here. This looks like, I want to say this is where we first get a glimpse of Jenova. So this isn't actually where Jenova is being held, and if it is, then they've made some major modifications, because, and it feels like it is. Like, it feels like this is exactly in the reactor where Jenova is. So that means they got rid of the doll, which I kind of like the doll. I think it had a great cinematic experience part to it. But then again, we can't really tell where certain things are taking place in the story, whether the flashbacks are currently happening. So, just have to wait and see. But, oh man, I love, yeah, it was just really short glimpse. But I love how they made Jenova less human-like. Like, she's got this human form, but one of the issues with Jenova was that she came from the meteor that is coming down. Jenova was a part of that, and so she was the calamity. And it's like, if you came from that, why do you look more human than you do the entity that you came from? So I like that this is kind of giving her design more of a calamity meteor looking aspect to it. Interesting that they didn't show her face, which I guess is going to be one of those like big reveals. But then again, a lot of people know what Jenova's face looks like, so unless it's a drastic change, it might be interesting. So the honeybee, and it, the fact that they're still going through with content like this and the year of our Lord 2020 is very, like, it's nice for people who played FF7 in the past, because it's such a interesting component of what makes FF7 really a fun game. And the way that they're framing it, I think, is very appropriate. So I'm glad to see it, and I'm glad that, or at least I hope that it's not offending anyone, because it's like, you don't want to take the fun out of a game, but at the same time, you don't want to be a complete, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't want to be insensitive, is what I'm saying. You don't want to be, like, super insensitive to how the world has changed between now and when FF7 came out. So I'm really happy to see Honeybee Inn is still here. Nice intimate moment with Cloud. So this was the part. This is the part. Boom. Right there. I just want to make a thumbnail from that by itself. Cloud with a gun. Which is interesting, And I don't know if it's like a gun or if it's like a grappling hook, but it's just interesting because of the fact that it's like you don't really associate Cloud with guns, so it makes me question if like Final Fantasy 15, if there will be different additional weapons that you can use as kind of like accessories and not so much as like the main weapon, because we know he has his Buster Sword, but maybe I'm just looking like way too deep into this, which is entirely possible. But I just thought that just Cloud packing heat, for lack of a better term, Cloud's packing heat. And then just, oh man, having Leviathan, which, I mean, Leviathan's cool and all, not my favorite summon. We already know that we're getting Ifrit, or Ifrit, however you pronounce it, but it's like, show me more. I want to see the big boy. I want to see Bahamut. Like, don't worry, I don't care about Leviathan, that's fine. I want to see how Bahamut looks in this remake, because Bahamut's always had an art style change from game to game, and Bahamut from Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII definitely like scared the crap out of me. So I'm interested to see what they're doing with more of the summons as basically the game gets closer to release, and as they're willing to show us more. And then scaling Shinra Tower, which looks like it's going to be a lot more fun than it was the first time around, because last time it was just go headstrong or go up the stairs and just continuously going over and over and over and over until you got to the top level where you're supposed to be at, and then infiltrating from there. So I'm curious to see if stealth will still be a big part of it, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then yeah, oh my gosh, this creature, it's so like it's just grotesque, mutated. It looks like it's consuming the area around them. And the thing about it is, I'm curious if it's like if they're physically fighting the creature or if it's an illusion, because that would make this game very trippy. But again, probably looking way too deep into things. Just gotta wait and see. And then, of course, the iconic Cloud dropping moment. Oh, but yeah, this is gonna be. I'm wondering how they're gonna frame this segment of the game, because again, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played the game and are still looking into playing Final Fantasy VII before the remake comes out. Granted, I understand that some people are like, at this point, you can like it's been out forever, like spoil it, but I still think FF7 is one of those things you have to experience and not just hear about. But for this scene, I'm curious if they're going to play it out in a serious tone where it's going to make you feel kind of like you're going to hurt a little bit, or if it's going to be more of a kind of like action cinematic scene where it's like, we got to go, we got to get out of here, like we need to leave now. So I'm curious to see how that gets handled. It's looking very actiony, but again, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't care. I'm gonna play it anyways, and I'm gonna love it. And then we have our Dementors of the game, and then we have our title, FF7 Remake. Whew. I'm excited. I'm motivated. Again, April 10th, not a bad day. It's just not as soon as we wanted it to be, but you know what, that's perfectly fine. In all honesty, I would rather the game get put, and it's not like they knew people's schedules and they were like, oh, all these people are going to be able to play the game a lot better and a lot more often if we release it at this time. You know, they had to work on it more, they had to polish it, but for when it is being released, I think is the perfect time, because it gives a lot of people the Friday that it comes out and the weekend to enjoy it, and some people might call out from work the next Monday just so they can experience it more. But it just gives us time to just better prepare. And for a lot of people I know, when it comes to games, they're like, you don't need to prepare that much, you know, just play the game. And it's like, no, this this is more than just a game. It's kind of like going to see Star Wars or going to see a Marvel movie when you go to the movie theaters. You know, you're not just going to watch a movie. You're going for an experience. You're going to be a part of an event. And for me, that's what FF7 Remake is. It's not just another game. It's my most anticipated game of all time, right behind Devil May Cry 5 and, well, games that I hope will come out either in 2020 or 2021. But it's an event. It's an experience. It's a time for those who grew up playing the game or grew up around others playing the game to unite with people who have been interested by these characters and interested by the world, but never really got to experience it. Because the thing about it is, it's a remake, not a remaster, which means this is going to be a new experience for everyone. Everyone's going to find something new about this, whether you've played the game before, beaten it 15 times, or have never played Final Fantasy games in your entire life. This will be an experience that everyone will be able to enjoy. And I have to say that I am most definitely excited to bring you my reaction, my content of Final Fantasy VII Remake. With that being said, make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that way we know that we have people who are actually watching our stuff, like our videos so that we know that our content is actually good, and share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with people who are interested in gaming. We want to make sure that we become an outlet for other voices to be heard, and we can't do that without you. But with that being said, I'm Malik from the Gauntlet of Gaming, and remember, these hands are rated E for everyone. See you later.